everybody. Welcome in. I asked the Frenchman if he played video games. He said, oui. Hi. Are we doing something a little different today? I thought we could just hang out, listen to some lo-fi, see if we can catch any spirits in Spirit City and just chat. So if anybody comes along and says hi, then I can say hi, talk about our weekends, do that sort of thing. I thought that would be a little bit of fun while I get some stuff done. Thought, you know what, let's just do something interesting and different for once. So that's what we're doing. Mixing it up a bit. I got this lovely game from my friend Nocturnally Nix recently. I haven't really done too much with it. At this point, as you can probably see, I haven't changed the main bedroom or anything. I've barely caught any spirits. This is basically my second time playing this. And I thought, you know what, I sort of started to use it for organization. So this is what this game is basically, a little bit of organization and, keeping yourself on track for tasks and, some chill music. Plus you get to, decorate your room and do different things like that. So yeah, I haven't really explored it fully yet at this point, but I thought, hey, why not do it today while I am doing other things? I'm multitasking, which is pretty phenomenal. Multitasking. This is my attempt anyway. Havoc! How are you? Welcome in. Good morning. How is your weekend going? Velvet, I'm struggling so hard. I'm trying to have one session of listening to the new album without dancing, and as soon as I hear Keep It 100, you're stuffed. You love this album. Please tell me your overall opinion. All right. Well, we're straight into it. We're chatting this morning. We're going to be chatting about Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift's new album. Oh my gosh. Where to start? So, Taylor Swift's new album. I love it from start to finish. I've been listening to it all weekend, and I did go to the little movie that that Taylor released, like a little release movie for it, and I loved that as well. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, I love it from start to finish. It's really upbeat. It's really hopeful. There's moments where it's wistful and, a little bit sad. But I think the overall message with it is it's just really upbeat and really hopeful. And I love that. I really vibe with that. There's a line in the album where she says something along the lines of, you make your own sunshine. And that just really, really resonates with me, because I'm a person that's had to make my own sunshine in life. So yeah, the fact that, that line was just oh, that's a killer line for me. It's just one of those lines which I really identified with, because I'm a person that's gone through a lot in my life, and it really resonates with me. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that I absolutely loved. Havoc, The Fate of Ophelia might be my favourite album. I haven't stopped listening to it. Your favourite song from the album. But this is my favourite album of her, all time by her. I feel like what is going on with this world, I feel like we need an album like this, Yes. You know what? And that's not the only time that Taylor's done this, where she's released this album that I feel like we all need. And I feel like this is an album that has a lot of hope in it. Where she's gone from this place where, life, she was quite, I don't know, it just feels to me like she's gone from this place where she's gone through a lot of heartbreak, and, she has had to work her way through that. And then, obviously she's met Travis, and it's just turned her life around in terms of, the hope and love and, that sort of thing. And I feel like this is what this album is a lot about, is, a lot of hope, a lot of love, and a lot of joy. And I feel like that, yeah, you're right. We absolutely need that at the moment, because it's tough times out there. It really, really is. And the other time that I really feel that Taylor leaned into that is during COVID, when she released Folklore, and that was it was the album we needed at that time in our lives, where we just needed something something new. And I think it's just like that album just like really dug into that time in our lives, which was just such an unusual time to go through. Like, how many times in your life are you going to say that you've gone through a pandemic? Hopefully only once. And yeah, it was such a wild time, and I feel like we just needed something, you know, to really hold on to during that time, and I feel like that album really did that for me. Folklore and Folklore and what was the other name? the other album. I know it. I just can't think of names when I'm streaming. Positively terrible. Havoc. Someone on Twitter said that this is actually her very first Love album. Taylor always has a way of giving us what we need at the right time, because like TTPD was so perfect too. Folklore and Evermore. Thank you. God, my brain. Seriously, I can't cope with names when I'm streaming. No matter what I'm doing. To be honest, I can't cope with names in real life, even when I'm not streaming. It's shocking, but yeah. I feel like, yeah, you know what, the whole idea of the life of a showgirl and the fact that it's a love album. I feel like she's written a lot of love songs, but she's also written a lot of heartbreak songs. And yeah, I think this is an album that's just full of love. It really, really is. You just know that she's so deep in love while she's writing this. And I think she probably would have been in a similar place, you know, in terms of like relationship wise, you know, during Folklore and Evermore, you know, because, you know, in theory, she was in a stable, loving relationship at that point in time. But it doesn't feel joyous. It's not the same, you know, that same essence that we get with this new album. And that's so fascinating, isn't it? I just feel like there's very different relationships and very different feelings from her on those relationships through these albums. And, you know, it's purely speculation because obviously we don't know for sure, but yeah, it feels like very different places. Nasina, welcome in. How are you? Welcome in. Havoc, and what people really need to remember about this album, this is about life of a showgirl, not the show. This album is about what was going on behind the orange door. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is behind the scenes of being on the road and living, you know, this life and what was happening to her behind the scenes. And it was pretty major stuff. Nasina, this is a very random impromptu just chatting stream. It is. It really is. I don't know why. I just thought, well, I'm going to be doing stuff this morning, and I thought, well, why not? You know, it's just admin stuff. I'm not doing anything particularly exciting. I'm currently sitting here ordering groceries while we're chatting about Taylor Swift, and I thought, well, you know what? Let's just hang out. Let's talk about our weekends. We'll just like see if I can catch a spirit in Spirit City. We'll have some cool lo-fi tunes, and I'll chat away while I'm working, and happy days. Right, why not? I just it occurred to me this morning, why not try it and see how this goes and just try something new. So this is where we're at. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Isn't that fun? I think that's fun. Why not? Let's just talk about stuff. Havoc. Oh no, Velvet. From lover to TTPD, she was completely broken. Joe was not a healthy or stable relationship for her at all, and neither was Matt Healy. This is her first stable relationship. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what I was sort of saying. Is like, you know, you can tell that through the music. That, I mean, the theory was, I mean, I know she wasn't in a stable, happy, you know, healthy relationship. But what I'm saying is that the illusion was there, that was what the place that they were in, you know, they've been together for years, happy, blah, blah, blah. That was kind of the idea that, you know, that was where she should be. But then you can tell from the music when you listen to Evermore and Folklore, and then you compare that to, you know, Life of a Showgirl, how different, you know, like in theory, she was in love, you know, she's in love in both of these albums, but how different are they, and what a different kind of love it is, you know? So that's exactly what I'm saying, is that you can tell those different relationships through her music, and how, yeah, how different a place she was in at those times, even though in theory she was in love in both of those relationships, right? Yeah. Very different. It's me. Hi, I started the Taylor talk. Yeah, it's all Havoc's fault. Sounds fun. Co-working just chatting streams are fun. Well, that's what I figured. I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm not really doing a proper co-working stream. Like, I'm not doing the whole breaks thing and stuff. Although I guess we could. Do you guys want to have a break session? Let's start a session. 30 minutes. Here we go. That's the great thing about the sort of Spirit City. You can kind of do like your little co-working sessions. You can make sure that you have breaks and drink your water and stretch and do all those things, and it's fun. So yeah, why not? I mean, it's probably only going to be for about an hour or two maximum, but hey, why not have some fun? Havoc, you love that during the pandemic. She was like, we're all going through a tough time. Let's go to Cottage Stories. Folklore and Evermore are Inner Screen albums. Yes. Yes, you're so right. That is so very Inner Screen. Oh, this is a Pomodoro. I have one of these on my computer. Pomodoro? What's a Pomodoro? Tell me more. What were we looking at there? I don't know what we're talking about, but that's fine. I can still talk through anything I don't know what I'm talking about, so that's all good. Yeah, so it's quite fascinating how much you can sort of lean into what's going on with Taylor during through her albums, and just the vibe of those albums and that sort of thing. And I just like the difference between Folklore and Evergreen versus Life of a Showgirl, in terms of the vibe and just the joyousness in Life of a Showgirl. You just know that she's so happy, so in love, and it's just, there's no way that you can avoid that with this album. You just know it, right? Which I love. So I had a great time at the viewing party thing. I just thought that was amazing. I loved it from start to finish. Just the way that it was all done and everything like that was so good. Is this what it's what you're using? What, the Spirit City Lo-Fi? This game thing? That is what I'm using, but I don't know what Pomodoro is. Sorry, I don't know. I assume that that's what that is. Is Pomodoro something else, or is it something that, yeah, the same thing? The timer is a tomato. What? Val, decorate your room for Halloween. You just got yours done. I don't have any decor. This is literally the second time I've played this. I don't have any decor. Because you can make task lists and stuff, and it has timers and all that. This is a Pomodoro. Oh, okay. All right. And it's a little tomato. Oh. The timer is a tomato. Oh, okay. I've never heard of it. I mean, as I said, this is like literally the second time that I've played this, or had this kind of open and going. So I've just kind of at the stage where I barely know how to use it at this point. Oh, that's pretty. Oh yeah, kind of Halloween-y, right? All the way at the bottom is the Halloween stuff. Oh, okay. General? Ooh, we can have different scenery. That's fun. Google Pomodoro. Okay. See, I don't know what you're talking about, so that's fine. Pomodoro timer. Pomodoro refers to the Pomodoro technique, a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo in the 1980s. The technique involves using a timer to break work into intervals traditionally 25 minutes long, called pomodoros, the Italian word for tomato derived from the developer's tomato-shaped timer. Each pomodoro is followed by a short break, and after 4 pomodoros, a longer break is taken. The method aims to improve focus, prevent burnout, and increase productivity by structuring work into manageable focus bursts with planned intervals for rest. Oh, well, there you go. You know what the little timer looks like? So this is the little time. little tomato timer. It kind of looks like there's like a little iconic thing in New Zealand, and it's basically like little tomato sauce bottles, and they're like, you know, shaped like little Pomodoro timers. So that's what that kind of reminds me of a little bit. A little further up than the absolute bottom of beds, I think. Okay. Well, I'm just going to finish the task. I am actually doing something else. So I'm going to finish that first, and then we'll decorate our room. How about that for an idea? Because I am actually attempting to order groceries. It's not going very well. And I think I better do it before my timer runs out. So I'll decorate my room after I've finished ordering my groceries. You know what's quite good is that it's the first day back from the end of holidays as well, which is awesome. So I've got all this freedom today, and I've got a lot to do, as it turns out, because I had over the school holidays, a lovely lady rear-ended us as we were driving. So I've got to take the car in to get a quote from the panel beaters to send to the insurance people. So there's that. It's a fantastic job to do. And my son has like a little skin thing going on at the moment, so I've got to go get him like an armband thing to cover up his skin thing while he's at school. So there's that too. And I've got to go get a library book for the kids. So, you know, I've got a few like running around things to do. So I thought, well, you know what, let's just sit here and we'll do like a cool little chitty chat thing and yeah, hang out while I'm getting a few jobs done. I thought that would be fun. Havoc. So yeah, I got to teach you something new. There are multiple different types of Pomodoros. Mine is a pet. You use the wordlets Pomodoro. See, isn't that fascinating? Just kind of learning something new like that. I mean, I knew about the whole braking thing and the brakes thing, but I didn't realize there was actually a science behind all of that and how that was kind of, yeah, approached. So fascinating. Didn't we like learn something new? Well, I did anyway. I don't know, nobody else did probably, but I did. So what has everybody been up to over the weekend? How's it been going? So yeah, as you know, I went to go see the Taylor movie. So I went the first session was at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. And so I went to that on Saturday morning, and I went to that session. It was half full, which wasn't too bad for a Saturday morning. So yeah, not too bad. And yeah, it was good. So the whole thing that happened with that Taylor Swift journey is basically the whole idea was it's a launch party for the album, and you could come along and you could watch this essentially like a little mini movie behind the scenes kind of thing. And it starts out with showing you the new music video for The Fate of Ophelia, which is the first single from the album. So you get to see the single for that, which is cool. It was amazing. Like, it's an amazing video, by the way. Absolutely incredible. So much work into it. And then you sort of, then Taylor talks a bit about, you know, behind the scenes, what's going to be going on with this movie that we're watching, you know, that sort of thing. So the whole idea is that you sort of get a breakdown of each of the songs in the album, and then you listen to the songs, and there's like a lyric video for it, each of the albums. So you get like an insight into what each of the songs. So you get an insight into each of the songs. So like the next song would be track 2, which is Elizabeth Taylor, and then she'll talk about why she, you know, what sort of the writing process was, or her thoughts behind that song. You like get the lyric video, and then you might get like a behind the scenes portion of that section, or a section of the music video. So it's like behind the scenes of the creation of the Fate of Ophelia music video. So you kind of get like quite a bit of like behind the scenes stuff. You get the lyrics, and then at the end of the session we got another chance to watch the Fate of Ophelia music video again, and it was quite amazing how different my interpretation or my viewing of the video was the second time around to the first time around, because I'd had all this insight and I'd seen how this had been made, and I understood so much more about the video process. And then I sort of saw it in a whole new way when, you know, we went back to it and saw saw the video a second time, which was really cool. So it was such an interesting experience because I've never gone to the movies to see something like that before, and it was, yeah, really cool. I enjoyed myself immensely. Havoc, me, my mom, and my friend went, and there was one other family there that was and I got to give 3 young Swifties their first friendship bracelets. Aww. The video comes out 7 p.m. EST tonight. I know, the whole thing, so there's like a little part where Taylor was talking about what was happening in the video, and she's just she gets all hyped up because she's like going through this phase where she's baking bread, and her bread got to be in the music video. And you don't notice that the first time around, but the second time around you like notice the picture, and it's got like the bread, and it's got like a little statue thing of one of her cats, I think. So yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh, that's such like so much detail and so cute. It was like, oh, imagine that, putting like your loaf of bread into into your music video. That's just hilarious. Yeah, she directed the music video herself. Yeah, she normally does, doesn't she? I don't think I know I think for a long time she's kind of directed her own music videos, isn't she? As far as I'm aware. But I mean, I've never really sort of looked in depth into that, but that was also always my sort of thought, that she, for the last X amount of years, has sort of directed her own stuff, which is good. She's a girl boss. Havoc, and also her catching the football on her first try unmatched. I know if it would have been me, I would have hit you in the face. Yeah, that was cute. Just not a catching ball person, which is fair enough. Oh boy. So it was a lot of fun. So that was the first thing that I did on the weekend, and then I sort of went home, did a few things, and then like I went back to the movies again, and because there was a whole thing. I was going to take my niece to go see the Taylor Swift thing, and then there was an M rating on it, and I was just like, how is this like a mature rating, for the Taylor Swift thing? And I still to this. I've watched the whole thing, and I still don't know how this was a mature rating for this particular movie, because there was absolutely nothing in it that I would have thought would have been risque. Like they kept the lyrics and the music clean. Like they didn't go into any of the sort of explicit lyrics. They changed those to the clean lyrics. I think the worst thing I can remember her saying is the word sexy. And I'm just like, why couldn't my niece have gone to that? Like, mature rating here in New Zealand is 16+. So I was just like, what? It was really weird. So I don't know. Anyway, so it couldn't end up taking her to the movie like I planned. So, and I've been talking to my boys about going to see Bad Guys 2, because my eldest son like really loves the books. So yeah, so I ended up taking them to go see that. So I ended up going to 2 movies on Saturday. And so took the 3 kids to go see Bad Guys 2. So it was kind of like, it was a lot of time at the movies on the weekend. Havoc, yeah, she has since her read Taylor's version days. I know because she used the edited versions. Ah, right. It was rated E for us. Really? E, I assume, is for everyone, right? I would assume. So that's really weird. I mean, I couldn't fathom it when I saw that rating, because I didn't even think about the fact that it would have like a mature rating on it, because I thought, it's a behind the scenes music video with Taylor Swift. It's probably going to be fine. Didn't think about it. And then when I went to go book the tickets, it was like mature rating. And it was like, what even? So they weren't going to let her in to go see that. So I ended up taking her to her second movie, just because I didn't want to upset her or anything like that. So I promised her a movie, so took her to a movie. So yes, that's how I ended up going to 2 movies on the weekend. It was so many movies, but you know what, the Bad Guys 2, I mean, I'm not really much into animated movies at all. But it wasn't a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It had a decent plot to it. It was a lot of fun. The kids enjoyed it, and it wasn't a bad way to spend a couple of hours. So, there you go. Bad Guys 2, not a bad movie. Ringing endorsement from me. Yeah, seriously, I'm not a particularly big fan of animated movies, so it's an endorsement as far as endorsements go. She even used vague song explanations to avoid the mature ratings. Yeah, that's what I mean. Havoc, that's what I mean. It's like coming out of it, and like at the end of like seeing it, and I was just like completely baffled. Why is this a mature rating? There was no swearing, there was nothing explicit. Everything was covered up, There was just yeah. That was weird. So mind blowing. So I fully planned to take my niece with me, and that plan went down the Google, which meant me going to 2 movies on the weekend. So it was a whole thing. But that's all good. I had fun and had a delightful time. I unfortunately had like a really bad headache all the way through it, so I did spend just sort of all afternoon trying to get, shake the headache. You know how sometimes you get those like tension headaches like running up your neck and everything? I get those fairly regularly. I think it's because I spend way too much time on my PC, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. So that's what I did. And so that, after that, and I just sort of got home and I just chilled out and did some gaming. So I played a bit of... What did I do? I played some Starfield, actually. Oh, I should go back to where I was. Hang on. No, whoops. Activity, full view. There we are. Got 13 minutes left on our session. So, yeah. Played a bit of Starfield. I've been playing quite a lot of Starfield. And oh yes, I had a good time slot. I'm getting excited about getting a good time slot with my groceries. Thrills a minute over here. Thrills a minute. Good time slot for my groceries. Yes. Havoc, like when she explained Wood, she was like, this song is about superstition, and like we know what that song is really about, but there's nothing in the movie to call a mature rating. That's wild. So like in New Zealand, can you not even cuss in a movie? Yeah, absolutely you can. Like we are very relaxed when it comes to swearing, so this is why it's really baffling to me. I don't know. I don't understand what that rating was about at all. At all. Because, swearing's pretty commonplace here. We're pretty chill and relaxed about that sort of thing. So it's not really... Yeah, I feel like that's really odd. Should we decorate our room? Get ourselves a new bed. I don't know. That's quite cool. Be fun. So, yeah, really baffling. I still don't understand to this point. Like, I went to the whole thing and there's just nothing in it at all that would say to me, oh my gosh, kids could definitely not see that. Okay, it's a cute little bed. Let's see some bed sheets. You haven't still played that, but you kind of want to. Starfield is interesting because I got it when it first released, and I tried to get in because like Starfield's by the same people that made, Elder Scrolls and Skyrim, etc., etc. And ooh, purple. That'll be fun. Oh, look, Halloweeny. Boo. Yeah, and I really struggled to kind of get into it initially. Like it's, and I'm quite into it this time around, but there is some issues with it, I feel like, in the sense that, I don't know, maybe I haven't got to this point yet in the game. I might go red. But, yeah, I feel like there's not enough to do with the bases. Like, I collect all this stuff and I store all this stuff, and all of my bases is just, like, all of the storage for all of the stuff that I collect around the place. And I don't really know I, like, build the basics and then that's it. Like, there's nothing else to do with the stuff that you collect. So I'd kind of like feel like they need to expand like the base building and everything like that and really make that kind of work a lot better. And also there's a real, I feel like, imbalance in the way that you, I guess, level up initially, and just the way that sort of the skill tree and stuff is done, I feel like that's not quite balanced, right? So yeah. Oh, we could go red and have like a little thing going on there. That would be quite cool. That would be cute. So yeah, I do feel like there is some stuff that needs to be fixed, and also selling stuff like the guns. Most of the vendors have like 5,000 galactic dollars, whatever it's called, and you pick up a gun like as you get a little tiny bit further in the game, and it's just like that gun's worth 4,000 or 5,000, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to sell stuff. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. There's some little things that I think need fixed, but I'm enjoying it. Maybe it was the showgirl clothing, I don't know, honestly. Well, yeah, that's the only thing I could think of is like the showgirl clothing. Maybe. But even then, it wasn't risque. Havoc, there's also a theory that Kitty was actually Britney Spears. Yeah? I would have thought someone older. Honestly. Because I feel like, how old's Britney Spears? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I feel like she's not that old. I feel like her and Taylor are not that disparate in terms of ages. Maybe like 10 years between them, if that. I guess that could work, I guess, in theory. I don't know. Ooh. Hey, there's lots of different things you could do here, eh? Quite fun. Yeah, so that was my sad day. It was a pretty busy sad day, and then Sunday we didn't do too much. It was pretty quiet. I think I'm gonna go like maybe a little red. Oh look, got a little ghosty wallpaper. Okay, let's do that. Ghosty wallpaper. Sunday, yeah, I didn't do too much. I ended up building finishing a house build in The Sims 4. So I did that. That was an Adventure Awaits build. So it was a cute little family home. And then I cut my husband's hair. Oh, you don't buy it twice. Okay, awesome. That's cool. So I can have like the same wallpaper all the way around. Okay. I get it. I see. There we are. So you can have like the cute little wallpaper all around, or you can mix and match. Aha! Fantastic. Cut my husband's hair, and then I just played a bit of Starfield in the afternoon. Oh, you know what I've been doing though? I'm a big reader, so I generally like to do a lot of reading and stuff, and I have like my little tablet and get my bits on there, do that sort of thing. But yes, I've started reading a series, the Twisted series by Anna Huang, and I'm really enjoying it at the moment, even though the first book is actually really quite blah. The book 2 and book 3 were fantastic, so I was really happy with that. So I'm just getting on to book 4 now. Havoc, Britney is 43, but when Taylor was younger, she went to a meet and greet at a Britney concert, and the way she describes how Kitty looked is how Britney looked on stage around that time. And she also says Kismet, and I can't remember the exact reference, but there's also a reference to Britney. And also the cigarette line, because Britney smokes, and you're sweeter than a peach. Britney's from the south, so that's something she would say. Well, there you go. That's a bit of a theory, isn't it? Interesting if it is. Interesting. But yeah, you can kind of get it. Like, it's a tough business, right? You can absolutely imagine someone sort of, warning you away from this tough business. Light fixtures. Ooh, we got some pretty lights that we can choose along here too, which is fun. Ooh, lots of lights. That's cool. So it wasn't a very. Oh, my father-in-law came over on Sunday as well, so just caught up with him for a bit. He was storing some stuff in our garage. and showing the kids, like he gave my boys his telescopes that he hadn't been using because he's moving house. And yeah, so he was showing the boys how to use the telescope. And he gave some very sage advice, which is do not look into the sun when you're looking through the telescope, which is probably very, very good advice. It's like, do not stare at the sun and do not peep. The advice was do not stare at the sun and do not peep into people's windows. So it's that kind of funny. I was like, oh yeah, please don't do that. Havoc. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was the perfect final song, and she also did say the outro was from the final night of the Eras tour. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think the Life of a Showgirl song is a song that just really feels like the conclusion to a moment or a time in your life, and I think that's just kind of the perfect end to this album. Like, I couldn't think of another song that would be as perfect as the song that she chose for the end of the album. It just feels kind of almost anthem-y. Like, this is just this epic moment in time, and it just like really captures that feeling, which is pretty awesome. Kiwi! Hi, welcome in. Hello, we're just chilling and hanging out today, just doing a little bit of chatting for an hour or so. Because while I was doing a little bit of home admin, I thought, you know what, why not? How are you? How's your weekend been going? Did you have a good weekend? I went to see the Taylor Swift movie, and we're just talking a little bit about Taylor Swift at the moment, amongst other things. Havoc, if I've learned anything from Sims telescopes, you get abducted. Really? What I've learned from Sims telescopes is that a meteor will land on your Sims and they will kill you. That's what happens to me whenever I get a Sim kind of looking through a telescope. Next thing you know, there's a meteor coming and it's like kaboom, and your poor Sim is fried and died. So that's what happens when I play around with a telescope. Yeah, I was doing a little bit of playtesting when I was building yesterday, and yeah, I was building with adventure weights, and what was happening was that I was getting one of my Sims just to playtest going on the slide. Now, that's the new slide that came with adventure weights, and you kind of slide down it and you get the little moodlet, like it's a burning hot slide, because I was, recording like the tour of it and stuff, so the weather was heat wave, so that you get the good lighting. And yeah, she went down the slide because it's playtesting and had on heat wave, and she got like burned, and then like she set herself on fire. I was like, uh-oh. So it's like, of course I discovered that. Whoopsies. Oh dear. So you got to be careful if it's a hot day and your Sim is going down a slide. You've got to make sure you watch your Sim, because yeah, they might set themselves on fire. Is that it? No, it's a fox. I was going to say, is that a cat? But it's a fox. So yes, please be careful if you're playing The Sims 4 with the metal slides from the Adventure Awaits pack, because yeah, there is a chance that you will set your Sim on fire. Oh, speaking of The Sims 4, for those of you that have played Adventure Awaits, what are you thinking of it so far? I've heard like good reviews and I've heard mixed reviews. I have played it and I've looked at it, and my general view of it is it's really positive. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying it. We're going to be playing some more of that later in the week as well. We're going to be playing some of the Sims 4 Adventure Awaits with our new little series, and I think we're going to have fun with it. Havoc, that is awesome. That is so true to how those slides were too. That's the thing, it's just like those big tall metal slides in the middle of summer I mean, they would just burn the back of your legs so badly. Like you would think, oh, it's not going to be that bad, and you'd slide down, and then next thing you know, it's just like, ow, 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 ow. And I love how true to life that was, because I mean, that's such a strong childhood memory for me. You know, that whole big metal slide thing, because I grew up in an extremely small town, and in my small town, we had one dairy. A dairy is like your corner shop, or your no, I don't know what people call them elsewhere. We call them dairies. Anyway, like the little shops where you can pick up like some bread and milk and, you know, that sort of thing. So we had one dairy, and we had a boat hire, because we were very much like a beach town farming community. So we had like farming, we had beach, and you know, so people would come during the summer and, you know, hang out on the beach and, you know, that sort of thing. So they'd come and do the boat hiring. And that's all we had. And we had one playground, which had a metal slide, swing set, and a roundabout. That's it. That's my whole town, and that's all we had in our whole town. So yep. So we went on the metal slide because we had the metal slide and we didn't have much else beyond the beach to do. Havoc, you've only played a little with the dolls, but so far so good. Okay. I haven't actually played with the dolls yet, so how are you finding that? Because they look kind of creepy to me. I'm not going to lie. They look kind of creepy. Kiwi, you're enjoying the build items? Good. So am I. I've built like a few things with it so far. About 3 different houses, I think. No, 4. Hang on. What have I built? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 houses and a restaurant. So I've done that so far. And yeah, I really, really do like I didn't mean to buy that. I do like the build buy so far. It's working quite nicely as, you know, something that kind of works with different packs, I think, as well. It should be pretty good for that. The Cass, you know, it's good. It's decent. Like, it's decent athletic wear. It's definitely a vibe because it's quite retro. So I think that you're going to have to, yeah, want like a bit of a retro vibe if you want to go that direction. But there's some really nice stuff in there that I really like, and I quite like the hairs and stuff like that, and I like the idea of having some of the retro items because I think you can do fun things with it. But overall, the Cass is a bit, I'll forget about it. Like, it's a kind of forgettable Cass for the most part, except for a few items here and there. But yeah. Havoc, does tapping your foot count as dancing? Oh, we're having a short break, by the way. I really need to know that. I don't know. If you're not standing up, maybe not. I think you could say there's an argument for just tapping your foot as not dancing. Havoc, you don't want to give away too much for anyone yet, but the dolls are interesting in a really good way. Okay. Something I'm going to explore when we get into like a little bit of the gameplay and stuff that we're doing, because we're doing a little gameplay series called The Adventures of a Park Ranger. So we're going to be trying to become a park ranger in that game, and we're going to give the park ranger a kit, and that they will have their the other aspiration for the kids, and they'll do like the whole imaginary friend thing. And we'll see how that kind of goes, because I didn't play Sims 3, which I think is the one that had the imaginary friends, so I'm not really so familiar with that at all. Hey, look, what are we going to get in Bongo Cat? Duplicate! Kiwi, it's a shame the cabbage tree and other palm tree should have been in plants and not debug, and indoor plants. Sad that there was only one. Yes. I love the Pahudakawa tree that we got as well. I thought that was really cool. I've used it in one of my builds so far, but the cabbage tree and the palm, the palm tree. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, it is a shame. I say that every time with any pack. Long story short, because every time they seem to never really put any plants in there, and all the plants seem to go into debug. And I think that's a right shame, because I feel like we need more things, more plants that aren't in debug. And I will argue this every time, because I feel like, you know, it's not really a fair thing to do, because I believe there are so many players out there that won't even realize that there are cheats to get this whole other menu of items. And I think that's just such a shame, because I feel like, you know, unless you know, you don't know, right? That's kind of from a Taylor song as well. But yeah, I mean, unless you know about it, like, unless you know about cheats, because when I was first playing The Sims 4, you know, I wasn't in the Sims community. I wasn't watching Sims YouTube. I had no idea about cheats. I didn't know that I could have a cheat to unlock debug items. I didn't know that I could have a cheat to, you know, I didn't know about the move objects cheat. I didn't know about any of that. So, you know, and if I hadn't got into the Sims community and thus, you know, be where I am today, you know, I probably would have just quite happily continued to play without having any idea that these things existed in the game. And there's such a lot of things in the debug menu, and I feel like, you know, a lot of players really do miss out on that. And I feel like that's a shame, because they shouldn't have to miss out on a whole lot of, you know, assets in the game that they pay for. Havoc, it takes a lot of, the best way I can say it is to really read about the dolls before you choose, and make sure before you turn the doll into a friend that you are 100% positive with the personality you want it to have. Because once it's done, and it can go really good or it can go really bad. On the plus side, you can decide which personality the doll has, but they also do have defaults if you don't choose one. Ah, interesting. So that can go really wrong if you're not careful. Intriguing. I'm really fascinated with it. The other thing that I really want to try with the new Adventure Awaits pack is also the getaways. We did a little bit on stream on whatever day it is what he streamed it. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday. And yeah, we did a little bit of it there, but it wasn't really let's do that one. Yeah, well, it wasn't really much of an experience, just because I'm playing at Rags to Riches, the little challenge that we're doing. So what happened was that I ran out of money for the getaway, and I got yeeted from the getaway. So it was kind of like RIP to the getaway, but I didn't have enough money for it, so fair enough. But yeah, I do want to experience a little bit more, just because I didn't really get the full experience with it last time around. But I really do need to have like a little bit of money before I think I go on my next getaway. But that looks really interesting. I also want to do like a proper competition, like a cooking competition or something like that. I think that'll be a lot of fun to have set up, and I want to go through like the whole setup process for a getaway, and also I want to build a getaway. So that's another thing I want to do. But you know, gotta calm down. Can't do everything at once. You know. Kiwi, you're doing a holiday-ish location with a new EP. Ooh, so it's like a in terms of building a holiday location, like a batch, or like a whole lot of like a cabin, like a holiday park or something like that. Because that sounds fun. Oh, by the way, in New Zealand we call like the little holiday houses or cabins or coastal cabins like batches. So if you're wondering what a batch is, that's what a batch is. What we call them in New Zealand. Something little batchy. It's kind of cute. I've gotten distracted. I'm supposed to be doing something else. I'm supposed to be editing while I'm chatting, and this is going poorly. Gotten distracted by this thing, because I'm doing like a Halloween decoration in my game, so that's what we're doing for a minute while we're having a break. And break's over and we started our next session, by the way. This is why it's not a proper co-working stream, because I'm doing very poorly at reminding people to have their breaks and stuff. It's not a problem. We're just chatting. It's not co-working, it's chatting. Fireplace! Alright, this is the last little section. Get it all decorated. And I'm doing it Halloween because Nasina came in and insisted I do something Halloween, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna keep it, or maybe we'll do red. Might just do red. It's not really a Halloween kind of thing down on there. But I have so far had a good time building with Adventure Awaits. I'm enjoying the build buy. I really like all the outdoor stuff. Not gonna lie, all the outdoor stuff is pretty amazing. You know what I was a little disappointed in though, was that the playground can't connect to pools. So I kind of thought that maybe you'd be able to put the playground so that, like, you know, you could go down the slide and slide into a pool. But the answer to that is no, you can't. So that was sad, because I did want to do that, but I play tested it and I couldn't get my Sims to go down the slide when it was connected to a pool. So I kind of figured that you can't do that. But I am really enjoying building with the playgrounds and that sort of thing. Hello cats, I'm having you, thank you very much. And also the pool stuff as well is just like, I'm sitting there and just like every single house that I've built so far has had a pool in it. Because it's just like, I've got to have pools, thank you very much. Kiwi, so I've got like 3 little cabins and a communal building with a playground and splash pad and pool and some archery, and there is a pool slide. Yes, there is a pool slide. There is a pool slide. You're right, there is one. But I was trying to get the playground slides to connect with pools, and they wouldn't. So I know there's a pool slide as well. I was just trying to play around with it, and I thought, oh man. So there is, you know, I shouldn't be disappointed because there is, or they actually gave me an actual pool slide, and I don't need to slide into pools with these other slides. But I was just like, I thought, you know, why not? Why couldn't, you know, you build like a playground and have that slide into the pool as well? But no. But the pool slide, the diving boards are fantastic, as well as the sunken hot tub. Love the sunken hot tub, so that's really good as well. Lots to love about the pack. I haven't done enough gameplay really to say too much about that at this point, because I really haven't done enough. What I've done so far is I've really enjoyed. So far so good is basically where I'm at with the gameplay, but I haven't really done enough to say much about that. So I'd say the CAS is, yeah, just alright, if that. Yeah, the CAS isn't memorable. The build buy is pretty good, and yeah, so far the gameplay seems pretty good as well, so happy days. Yeah, it is sad that you can't connect them. Oh, I can do my wardrobe. That's cool. I had the Among Us character next to me, just because I was showing my kids basically. That's essentially what I was doing. It's just showing my kids because I was like, hey, look, because they, you know, obviously they love Among Us, so they're like, ooh, Among Us head feature, ooh. Eyebrows, wild eyebrows, crazy eyebrows. So yeah, so that was a sort of a shame for me. I kind of wanted to have, you know, an option to be able to dive into the pool if I felt like it. We'll do the clothing another time. Maybe we could change our location. Let's go to the desk. We can do a bit of work at our desk, just like I'm doing. There we are. We're working at our desk. Here we are. So yeah, that was the thing that kind of, I was like, oh, it's a bit of a bummer, but you know, I can live with the fact that I can't slide into the pool. I think that's fine, just because they did give us the whole pool slide as well, so I shouldn't complain too much, right? Shouldn't complain too much. So yeah, so overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The area that I love the most with this pack is the Wander World Wilds as well, with Adventure Awaits. So I really, really like that area. I feel like that's the most New Zealand area. That's the area up the top of the map. And yeah, it kind of just reminds me the most of New Zealand because of the fact that it has a lot of greenery. Like, it's a lot more dense in terms of the greenery up that end. We've got the hot pools, which are very Rotorua, and you know, the kind of the river coming down as well. The river's sort of coming down, and it's very New Zealand, like, you know, a lot of sort of heavy forestry and greenery and like rivers, and it's all very pretty and it's lovely. Remember to have a drink if you haven't already. Have a wee drinksy. So that's what I've been really enjoying with that. So I've had a lot of fun sort of building and doing different builds with it. What have I built so far? So I've built a cabin, sort of a modern cabin, and that had like a big sort of playground and pool area. And then I did like a little coastal cabin, which was really cute. A lot of landscaping in that, so I had a lot of fun with the landscaping, and that was sort of like your light sort of coastal colors. And I built a seaside restaurant. I just kind of was thinking about things that I would quite like to have in the world that we didn't have in the world already. And I feel like if you're going to go on dates and that sort of thing, I feel like a restaurant is a really good thing to have. Like, if you're going out on a romantic kind of date, you know, a restaurant might come in handy. So I built a little restaurant just to cover that kind of need, and then I built a larger family home. It's about 5 bedrooms, and again, just sort of like coastal sort of style, fairly modern, that sort of thing. So I've got a couple of those out on my YouTube channel at the moment, and then I've got a couple of them coming up in the next week or so, coming out there. So I'm actually at the moment, right this second, editing that speed video for the 5-bedroom home right now, as you do. That's one of my little jobs that I needed to do this morning. Sometimes it's quite interesting because, you know, it's a little bit of it's Monday morning and the kids are kind of back at school, and, you know, I've just sort of finally got the house to myself. I can record when I need to record, and, you know, all that sort of thing. And then, you know, the first thing I need to do is sort of like admin stuff, need to order the groceries, and get the final editing done on the video, and on a build video, just because I need to do the voiceover for it and get it all sort of organized, because I have like a whole spreadsheet of my content that's coming out. So I need to do the things that are most urgent first, and this is the next video that I need to get done. So it's like most urgent. Kiwi, you love how they snuck in a debug, Kiwi, and you were almost late this morning. Oh my gosh, were you? Oh dear. I love the debug Kiwi as well. I think I snuck that into one of my builds as like a little debug Kiwi, which was really cool. Also, thank you for the follow. So yeah, it's really cute, and you can just sort of like sneak it into builds here and there as a cute little item to add. I'm also curious whether or not, did you notice that there's some debug origami in base game? I'm kind of curious whether or not it's supposed to be in base game or not, because I feel like that's a skill that came with Adventure Awaits, but yeah, maybe not. Kiwi, last night you forgot to turn on your alarms for today. Oh no! Oh no, that's not what you want, because you want to get the kids off to, the kid off to school and ready for their day. Oh, fortunately my husband, does have to get up and go. So like as soon as his alarm sort of goes off, I was awake anyway, because I don't know. I woke up early, like around about 3:30, 4 a.m. And I was kind of laying there, just kind of resting more than anything. So I was actually quite wide awake when his alarm went off. Sometimes you just do that. I've sort of learned over the years that when you are kind of struggling with sleep, that it is quite good to just let yourself, just rest and enjoy the fact that you're in bed. It's okay to enjoy that and not like stress out about the fact that you're not sleeping. I find that it's a lot healthier for me to not stress out about not sleeping and just like enjoy the fact you're just resting in bed. I mean, that's a nice experience right there, right? So yeah, just don't stress about not being asleep. I find anyway, works quite well for me. Either way, I'm not sleeping, so it doesn't really make a difference. But I find it's a lot more restful for my brain if I don't stress about the fact that I'm not getting the sleep that I should. So yeah. Anyway, missing alarms, not so good. Kiwi, luckily I got out of bed at like 7:35, but luckily arrived at school on time at 8:40. Phew. That is lucky. Because, yeah, you don't want to be running late on the first day back to school. Oh, dear. Yeah, just as well you got that like little bit of extra little leeway with it, and you had enough time to get the kiddie ready for school and everything like that. On a Monday morning, my eldest son has guitar, so he gets a ride to school on a Monday morning. So that just means I don't have because he would normally walk to the bus stop and catch the bus himself, but just because of it's a different time and that sort of thing, that he needs to be there like a lot earlier. That I usually I drop him off at school, so it just means it's a whole other kind of thing going on as far as the morning routine, because the morning Monday morning routine, you're getting out of bed early and you're just kind of like, oh, Monday. Because it is Monday here in New Zealand, by the way, 10:21 a.m. and so you're dealing with Mondays, and on Mondays I clean the house because after the weekend it's just like, well, the house needs a good clean. Because after the weekend, the kids have dropped crumbs everywhere, and it's a need to clean. So Monday morning is cleaning, getting the kids ready for school, feeding the cats, feeding the kids, and cleaning the house, and then all of those things, and then getting my son to guitar lesson. It's just like, it's a lot on a Monday morning, ordering the groceries. So this is why I thought, well, why not have like a just chatting session while I'm catching up on some of this admin stuff that I need to do before I start recording for the day. And we can just stream, hang out, have a wee chat, catch up on our weekends, find out what we're doing. And this is kind of what I was thinking about as I was running around dropping kids off at school. So this was not a planned thing. I just thought, you know what? Just came up with the idea, and I thought, why don't we start? Kiwi, we love children, we really do, but we sometimes miss not having to clean up so much. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, it's a lot of crumbs. Like, the kids are responsible for cleaning their own rooms, or tidying their own rooms, not specifically going in there and scrubbing it every day or whatever, but they're responsible for tidying their own rooms and maintaining the tidiness of their own rooms. So I don't tidy their rooms for them. They're responsible for that, but the cleaning I do. And it's just like, by the time we get around to Monday morning, there's like dropped crackers, there's like little crumbs everywhere, just like chip crumbs and all sorts all over the place. And the the kids just, they're pretty good. We get them to tidy up, like the living room and that sort of thing. So they tidy away their toys, but it's just like all the debris left over from after after the weekend, from their adventures around the house. It's just like, oh my gosh, so much. Kiwi, my living room is like that. Well, my living room shares the dining, so crumbs. Yes, that's exactly the same for me here. I've got like an open living room, dining, kitchen. So they've got the kitchen off to the left, and then it sort of goes through to the dining area, and sort of like the dining / it's kind of hard to explain, but it kind of goes kitchen, and then we've kind of got like the device area, which is where I'm sitting at the moment. So the kids each have a PC, so they've got like my old PCs, and there's like a TV set up for their consoles, and then like I'm in my little control panel center desk, corner desk, which I share with the 2 children. So I'm off in the corner, and then there's a dining table in behind my desk, and then it goes into the lounge there. So it's all kind of like a very shared space, which is why it's so difficult during like the school holidays and stuff like that to really, I've got to manage when I can stream and when I can create content and that sort of thing, because I'm in a very much shared space. Back? Okay, good. So yeah, it's very much a shared space, and it's a delicate balance trying to get all the things done that I need to do without, the kids being there. Like sometimes I think you can hear in my videos that there'll be typing in the background. It's because I'm having to record while the kids are there and they're sitting on their PCs typing and doing their gaming things and stuff. And it's like there's only so much you can do. I mean, it is what it is. Can't control everything. And the kids are there and they have their space, and they have, they're entitled to have their time and that sort of thing. So it's just all figuring that out. It's a challenge during the school holidays. And then you sort of go into like this long summer holidays. Oh my gosh, which we are coming up to very rapidly. So here in New Zealand, because obviously it's different in every place in the world, but here we have we're going into summer in December. So our Christmas period is our summer holidays. So our Christmas sort of summer holidays are really long with the kids off school. So it's about 7 weeks all up. And yeah, so I mean, I know sort of like different countries have like the different, summer holidays and how long they take off school and, that sort of thing. But for us, it's through sort of mid-December through to the start of February. Kids are off school. Crazy. Kiwi, yeah, I only stream in the evenings if I want to. My desk is in the living space. Yes, exactly the same as me. Like there's nowhere else to have my setup. So I'm in the living space as well. So it's very much a shared space, and it's tricky. I've tried streaming in the evenings, and I get so tired because you stream, because I try and spend some time, in the evenings with my husband, and then it's just, so I don't start a stream till like, 9:30 at night, sort of like he'll like muck around or whatever, and after 9:30, so we spend a couple of hours together. The kids are in bed, and and then by the time I've sort of finished stream, it's midnight, and then I'm up again at like 6, his alarm goes off at like 6:15 in the morning, so I'm getting like 6 hours sleep, which isn't unusual for me, but it's also very tiring. It's very tiring. It really is. So it's a good use of time, but also very tiring. So I don't know. It's just finding that balance sometimes, really, isn't it? I'm enjoying this music. You guys enjoying the music? It's quite nice, isn't it? It's quite soothing. I appreciate some soothing music. Nice to have in the background while you're sort of chitty-chatting away, and that sort of thing. You don't have to worry so much about it's all supposed to be like copyright free, which is quite good. So yeah, so that's basically what we're doing today. It's just, I've never done a stream like this before. And I thought, you know what, let's just try it out, see how it goes. Why not? I mean, I'm just sitting here anyway, just doing admin stuff, so why not chat while I'm doing it? 2 birds, 1 stone, or something like that. Multitasking, all of those lovely things. Yeah, that's nice, right? It's nice, chill kind of music. I need to be a little bit more effective with using this game. But, it's just a little bit of an adjustment and stuff. And if you see, like, this cat roaming around the screen, this is a bongo cat. So bongo cat is a little thing that you can have on your PC, and it's you get it through Steam. And it's It's free, actually. It's a little free thing, and you can actually use it to hang out with your friends. So like you can have a little invite session. So here you can create a lobby. So like I can create a lobby here, and like, you know, that's the code. And if I wanted to invite people, I can invite people, and they can come hang out, hang out with me with their bongo cats kind of there. And every 30 minutes, basically, you get a new reward. So it could be a cat skin, it could be a hat, or it could be an emote. And you know, you can sort of do one of those things, and those are all collectibles. So you can kind of collect like different ones here. I've actually got 4 legendary emotes. Actually, I think they're just like basic emotes that you got. So you can collect legendary, epic, rare, and then you got uncommon, and then you got common. So it's like you got all these collections and that sort of thing that you can do. I've got all of the common hats, which is pretty cool. And they've just kind of launched the emojis. So that's a new thing that they've just launched. But anyway, you can sort of basically hang out in the same session and, yeah, have your friends kind of hang out together. It's just like a low-key way of actually sharing. I haven't even been on Discord today. Whoopsies. Guess we'll see my Discord pop up in a second. Yeah, so it's a low-key way of just like sharing time with your friends, like, and, you know, have a hangout sort of session and stuff. I completely forgot to go into Discord this morning. Normally I go into Discord and say hi to everyone, and then Monday mornings, because I'm running around like crazy, it just did not happen. Ta-da! Hey, there we go. Got some friends. Ow! So anyway, Bongo Cat is like a fun thing that you can kind of do with people. So there you go. If you've never played Bongo Cat, it's nothing complicated. You just collect hats and cat skins and emojis, and you just like hang out with your friends in a low-key kind of way. So I always have it like up on my Discord. I'll whenever I start a lobby, I'll post it in my Discord in the games chat, and you can join in anytime. There you go. Just a fun little thing. It's amazing how like these fun little things it actually feels like makes you feel like you're socializing a bit, which is funny, right? Like all you're doing is kind of hanging out on a screen together, but it really does actually make you feel like you are socializing in a way. It's just like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friends, you know, like Nasina's there, Kelly's there, Nixie's there, you know, it's fun. All the things. So for me for this week, we've actually, you know what's happening in this week in Taranaki is we have the big book fair that the Salvation Army runs every year. And anyway, this book fair is just like, it's huge, absolutely huge. There's like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of books, so many books, and my kids absolutely love it. So we're going to be going to that on it's running Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday as well. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think, maybe not the Sunday. And yeah, basically, you know, it's really busy, lots and lots of people there, but yeah, we go every year, and the boys absolutely love it. And we just like stock up on our books there every year of like whatever the boys are into. And they're like, because all of the kids' books are only like $1 each, which is awesome. So yes, $1 each, love it. And yeah, just stock up. It's a cheap way to really keep the boys entertained. And yeah, my eldest son is actually reading The Hunger Games for the first time at the moment, and he's really enjoying it. But we've sort of only got it out from the library, and he's been reading it from the school library and stuff. So I said, you know, if we find a copy of The Hunger Games, then we'll get that for you, or for the series anyway. it's a great way to just get a whole lot of books stocked up in the, little library for the boys, and they can just sit there and, read all the time. We're actually a family that goes to the library all the time. Like, we use the library as a good resource, all the time. And, yeah, it's just nice to not have to worry about due dates and, dates back, that sort of thing. And just have them for your own. But it's a space thing as well, because, the kids go through phases, and sometimes they want to, they'll want this and that sort of thing, like a whole lot of Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, or maybe they're really into dinosaurs at that point in time. But, they go through phases, and like sometimes it's just, they won't be in that phase, the following year. But then they'll be back into it again. Like, my eldest son has like been really into dinosaurs on and off for like years. And he's in an on phase with dinosaurs at the moment. And like last year, he wasn't interested in dinosaurs at all. It was like, planes and horror movies and, that sort of thing. And yeah, so they really go through different phases with different things that are like, oh, I've got a reward. What are we going to get? A duplicate. Ah, boo. So, anyway, the big book fair is a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to getting in there and, seeing what they've got to offer this year. I don't usually, because I read everything digitally, I don't really buy anything for myself, but I do keep an eye out if there's anything that I think I won't be able to get digitally, but most of the time you can. So, yeah. I just find it a lot easier to read on a tablet these days than with a physical book, which is so funny, because when the first sort of e-readers and stuff started coming out, or I'm going to say late 90s, early 2000s. That's when I remember. I was actually working in a bookshop at that time, which is kind of showing my age. I was very young, though. I was very young when I was working in this bookshop. But, yeah, I was working in this bookshop, and they were starting to come out. And obviously it was, a concern for the bookshop industry, because, the idea is that they are selling books. So, a digital replacement for a book is just like, how's that going to affect things? Turns out not that bad, not that much, or I don't know, has it really affected the book industry that much? I'm not really sure. I mean, there's still bookstores and stuff, so I feel like people still buy like a lot of physical books. I think that's the wrong file. So, yeah, anyway, I remember when they first came out, the whole, ebooks and Kindles and, that sort of thing. I was just like, no, never going to use that. I love physical books. I'm just always going to read physical books, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, fast forward all these years later. I don't actually remember what it was. I think I was on holiday. That's exactly what it was. I got myself like an e-reader because I was going on holiday. And of course, physical books take up a lot of room in your suitcase. They take up a lot of weight in your suitcase. So I decided to invest in a cheap little e-reader thing and try it out. Just like try this whole digital book thing out when I was on holiday this one time. And lo and behold, I loved it. It was so convenient. I could have so many books just jammed onto this one little thing. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And I never really looked back at physical books. I mean, the thing with this is like, I am a really big reader, and I had so many books, like physical books. Like hundreds and hundreds of them. I had whole giant bookshelves of books, and it's just been a case of over the years me being brave enough to slowly get rid of some of, like I got rid of some of the books pretty quickly that I didn't have like a sentimental attachment to. But there's been books that I do have a sentimental attachment to that I still have, actually, to this day. I've still got books sitting in my basement in storage that I haven't looked at in years, but because of sentimentality, I have held on to them because I haven't quite been able to let go of them. But those are kind of the only books that I still own. Over the years, I've just slowly, like, sold off or donated or whatever the books that I did have, and they've kind of gone on to other homes. But yeah, the whole transition from a digital, reading digitally versus reading a physical book was actually really rapid for me once I decided to stop being stubborn and actually just try out an e-reader. So that's one of those things, right? One of those things. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, are we on a break? Oh, we're on a long break, apparently. I don't think we need a long break. Not quite on a long break thing yet. We've only done one session. Oh my gosh. Alright, we'll start again. We will have a stretch and a drink, though. Havoc, how do my saves keep getting unorganized? Oh, yeah. I haven't looked at my save organization for ages. I mean, my saves are all labeled. So, yeah. For my game saves for The Sims 4, my saves are all labeled. So I'm not too worried about it too much. So I know where everything is. But, you know what I do need to do? Is I need to go through and organize my PC folders. Like, they're a hot mess at the moment. Like, I haven't done it in a while, and it really needs doing. But it's just one of those little things that, you just, like, put off. Not because I don't want to do it. It's just that it's not as important as something else that I might want to do. If that makes sense. It's like, it's not the priority, so it's just, it gets left and it gets left, and then, like, every time I go and, like, I'm looking for something because I've put it in a place, and then it's been a while, or I'm looking and things have kind of got cluttered, like there's way too much in there, and I'm looking at it, I'm just going, oh man, I really need to clean this place up, but it just keeps on not happening. As you do. It's sad, but it's true. Priorities, right? It's always the thing. But you'll get there. You'll get there around, getting yourself organized and getting the saves kind of put into the order that you want, all labeled, and that sort of thing. I do like to have, like, a really nice organized PC. I'm not gonna lie. So when it does start to get a little bit wild in my file orders and that sort of thing, I don't like it so much. I get frustrated with myself. Just like, you gotta tidy it up, Velvet. But as I said, priorities. It's like where your time goes. Well, we're doing alright, hey. We'll get there in the end. I mean, I can find stuff eventually. I like to know where things are and, like, have it sort of uncluttered and messy, because it saves time in the long run. Having to go through and search for things is just frustration when you know that it should be in a particular order and it just isn't. It's just like, gah. Oh boy. Build edits, eh? Sometimes when I'm like, because at the moment what I'm doing is I'm editing a build that I did for a save file building thing that I took part in with Tinker Taylor, and that's coming out, I think, I'm gonna say next week. Actually, that's releasing next week, so I think, oh gosh, I've done it anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, just like you're editing a speed build, and with the sort of sometimes the longer builds, you have to be a lot more, well, I do anyway, I know that I do this for myself, but when it's a shorter build, you don't have to be so precise about with editing stuff out. But if it's a longer build and I know I don't want it to sort of come out to about an hour long, I'm trying to get it down to, around about half an hour, 40 minutes max, that, yeah, I need to be a lot more proactive with cutting out, like, bits. So it's a lot more nitpicky editing than, like your shorter build, where you can just kind of, you don't have to nitpick so much because it's going to come out 15-20 minutes and it's going to be fine. You just cut out the major stuff. But yeah, I'm doing one of those larger builds at the moment, and it's a bit nitpicky in terms of just finding the, getting rid of the stuff that I don't need, which can be a little bit of a frustration in terms of editing time and that sort of thing. But it is what it is, and I feel like people do enjoy like a longer build sometimes. They get a bit more time to enjoy the building process and stuff. I wish I had more time to watch like a lot more speed builds. Speed builds are great. They're actually what got me into making content. Watching speed builds. I was watching Deligracy and Little Simsy. Those were the people that got me into doing the whole content thing. Oh, I've got something happening on here. What's this? We've reached a new spiritographer rank. Yay! More spirit hints have been added to your spirited decks. That's nice. We haven't actually seen any spirits today. Might go to full view. Might see one pop up. I don't know. I'm not very good at spotting them. I've only caught 4, I think, so far. 3? Yeah, 3. So I'm not going to say I'm the best at catching these spirits. So yes. Oh well. We'll get there in the end. Yeah, anyway, editing. Fun. It's a whole process, but you get there in the end. But yes, Deligracy and Little Simsy were the ones that really got me into the sort of into building, actually, as a builder. I feel like they were really good at being people that take you from, I just sort of like gateway simmers, like, really take you into sort of knowing more about the game and giving you confidence to do, or to try these things in the game, which I think is really cool. It's a really neat skill to have. And yeah, just from watching them build and, do what they're doing, just gave me sort of the confidence to go, hey, I can do that too, and because I was not a builder. I was not a builder at all in The Sims 4 for a very, very long time. Like, I've only really been building for about 3.5 years, essentially. And it just all started from watching speed builds on YouTube and thinking, hey, I can do that. And you know what? I could do it. And I'm still kind of, I'm always practicing my skills. I'm always learning to be better at it. And I feel like, the only way to improve on something like building in The Sims 4 is just to keep on practicing and keep on building and watching speed builds and, getting new skills from people. But yeah, it's good. Kiwi, but yet you have to do so good. Yeah, I watched a lot of builds myself to take note of their detail. Yes. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. And I think, you get kind of like a lot of different ideas from speed builds. Like, I do watch them. I watch mainly my friends speed build or build like live on stream, things like that. But it's just like sometimes I feel like I want to, also expand out to other areas, but it's just like it's a time thing. Sometimes I don't have a lot of time just to sit there and watch other people, build and that sort of thing after I've sort of, spent time with my friends doing this and doing that, like on streams and, watching their content and speed builds. Watching people like Little Simsy and Deligracy, I don't always have a lot of time to do, even though I might like to do that. But yeah, my limited time, all those things. But you always pick up so many amazing things from, speed builds and from watching different creators, build and that sort of thing and create, because, everybody has a different mind when it comes to building. And the way that we perceive things is always going to be different because we all have, the different brains and different life experiences and a different perceptions. So we puzzle things together differently. We might be building in the same house. This is, we can talk about shell challenges here as a great example of this. But like, a shell challenge in The Sims 4, where you take the same shell and nobody ever builds the same thing. right? Because we all have different brains and a different way of looking at the world. And I feel like, every time you watch somebody speed build something, you're getting a little peek into their brain and about how they perceive, perceive building and how they think about building. And I think that's fun. That's really fun for me because, there's going to be ways that they think about things that I simply would not ever think about. And then all of a sudden, I've got this new idea because, they've kind of given it to me through something that they've done. It might not be exactly what they've done or whatever. It's just like clicked something in my brain and made me think about the building in a different way. And I think that's really cool. I love that. And that's partly why I absolutely love shell challenges and hosting shell challenges as well, because I get this insight into people's brains and I love peeking in people's brains. What's in your brain today? Because we all think differently. And I love that. But yeah, gaming for me is such a good mental health tool as well. Because you can kind of pick the game that really suits your mindset at that particular time. And I feel like that's a really good thing for your mental health, to be able to do something that actually genuinely relaxes you or makes you feel good, or gives you an outlet to remove your anger or rage. Like, if you're feeling a bit ragey, you just go in and you like choose a game where you can go pew 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 pew. You can have like a bit of your pew 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 game, or you maybe want to do something more chill, and so you do something more chill. And I feel like there's so many different options when it comes to gaming and gameplay, and everything that you can have. If you want to create something, you can. If you want to shoot something, you can. That sort of thing. And it's a good outlet for emotion, I feel like. It's a good, not only are you sort of occupied, but physically, but you're occupied. You can occupy yourself mentally if you want to do puzzle games and that sort of thing, or you can just like have your brain blob out while you physically do something, and not have to think too much about what you're doing if you're, all tired out and that sort of thing. So that's why I love gaming. Works for me, man. Works for me. But it's quite often why I'll have a different game, because I play a lot of The Sims 4, because The Sims 4 is one of my, big games that I play for content, and that sort of thing. So I spend a lot of time in The Sims 4, and it's why I find on the weekend, I will still build on the weekend in The Sims, but I need an outlet that is something else other than The Sims 4. So it's just deciding on what game. And for me at the moment, that game is Starfield. So that's my outlet for when I'm not playing The Sims. I need something that's different from The Sims so that I don't burn out on The Sims. I know there's a lot of people out there that just play the one game, and for a lot of people that is The Sims 4. And that's amazing to me. I couldn't do it. I've always been like played like a whole lot of different games, and I don't see that ever changing. But I just find like, yeah, I would absolutely, if the only thing I played was Sims 4, I would absolutely get burnt out on it. And it's something that I don't want to get burnt out on, because I do really genuinely love it. It's my fave game for a reason, It's not perfect, but it's my fave game nonetheless. But I do need to be conscious of the fact that I don't want to burn out on it, and that's where the whole sort of balancing act comes in with playing other games during that downtime, I feel like that makes a lot of sense, and I imagine like a lot of other people do that as well, where you just kind of balance your love of games by, being careful about not burning out on them, especially when it's favorites like this. But I don't have besides reading, I mean, I love writing as well, but I haven't done it in ages because just time-wise, I haven't had the time to sit there and think about plots and that sort of thing, because I'm always sort of making the content stuff. But yeah, I love writing as well, and reading. So, those have been my main hobbies for most of my life. It's not going to change. Those are the things that I love and, get to do. Like, I don't want to go out and party, every Friday night or whatever. I'll just, I'd rather spend the money on a game and play that. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I know for me and my hubby, it just works really well for us. You know, they're like, oh, you're spending $100 on a game? It's like, yep. But you know what? I'm not spending $100 on going out and having, having drinks and food, alcohol and staying out all night and, that sort of thing. Which is fine. You can do that. That's your choice. If that's something you enjoy. If that makes you happy and you enjoy going out and socializing and spending, I used to do that in my 20s, so not judging. I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I just don't have the energy for it or the patience with people. It's like, no. But I don't really drink anymore either, so that's the other thing. But that's where our entertainment money goes, is on gaming rather than going out and having a few drinksies. I think that's fair enough. But your money, you do what you please with it, right? How are we going? Oh, it's 10:55 already? Oh my gosh, I haven't even finished editing this thing yet. It's a long edit. I'm sitting at around about 35 minutes at the moment on it. On the length of it, and I've still got a little bit to go. I'm going to say about 3 rooms left to edit. Oh my gosh. But I'm getting little chunks of it out, so it's getting down. Because, by the time it was sped up, I imagine it would have been over probably about an hour and a half long. It was a fairly large build. How many bedrooms? You know what? It was actually only 5 bedrooms, but it was a fairly large house, and it was a lot of detail in it. I had quite a bit of clutter and stuff in it. It was actually only one pack plus base. But it had a lot of clutter. And then I discovered the whole origami and debug thing. And so I put all of these little origami paper mache things all over the house, because it works so well for a family home, which is what I had built. And I was just like, whee! So I went through and I spent a lot of time in debug just going through all these new items from base game, because I'm like, yay! I've got a new item that I can play around. New items I can play around with, which is fun. Kiwi, you like going out, but you don't really drink yourself. I only have a drink if I'm having a nice meal with a hubby, but don't really do that often because I've got to find babysitter if I do. Yes, Kiwi, that is so right. That is so right, because that's the thing when you are a parent like that. It's not just you. You can't just drop things and just go out and just do things, right? It takes a lot of organization. If you want to go out. And every now and then, my hubby and I will go out to the movies, and then we'll ask our mother-in-law to babysit. We don't really ask her to do that very often, but yeah, every now and then we will. And that's basically the only time we will need a sort of babysitter, is just the odd thing like that. But yeah, it's a whole process when you're a parent. You've got to find a babysitter, and you've got to. You're usually tired because you've been up, early with the kids or whatever. And, it's a whole thing. Kiwi, you discovered the cootie catcher in Papercraft and Debug. Oh, the childhood memories. The cootie catcher. Is that the one where you go? It's I think people call it the fortune teller, and you kind of go, which one would you choose? Right? Is that what you mean by the cootie catcher? Because we didn't call that a cootie catcher. I can't remember what we called it. I remember we used to do them all the time as a kid though, and they were so fun. You'd write in, you'd have you'd fold it up, and then you'd write in your layers. You'd have your which color is your favorite, blah blah blah, and you have your colors, and then you'd have your I don't know, something else that layered in. Yeah, the fortune thing. Yeah. Oh man, we always had those as kids growing up, and you'd go through and you'd find out who you were going to marry. You have no idea what it was back in the day. No, I remember having them as a kid, but I don't remember what they were called. But someone said some fortune tellers or something like that. I had no idea if that was accurate to what we called them back then, but sounds right. Makes sense to me if they were sort of called fortune tellers and stuff. But they were so fun, and you'd always have who you'd marry, right? Oh, funny. Like you'd even know when you were that age. But it was always like, you know, you put your names of your favorite crushes in there every time, and then there'd be like a couple of guys in there that would be like, ugh, and then like you get them, and you know that'll you'd all giggle because you know you got one of the guys that isn't like the cool guy, as is the way of school. Oh dear, that's fun. You know, the other thing that we were really big into back in the day in school was elastics. Do you remember like going through a phase where you had like elastics? And I don't know if there was another name for it, but yeah, it was basically you'd have like these two big elastic bands. Like one of my friend's mums had like made them and put them together, and you know you'd kind of like do all the jumps through it and that sort of thing, and you'd have like these different rhymes, and like you go inside, outside, inside, out, and you know you'd have like different difficulties as well. You go from like ankle height to knee height to thigh height, and like you'd have to do like these different jumping patterns and that sort of thing, and you'd have like some different rhymes and that sort of thing to go with them. We were like, yeah, I remember those. I was big into those. I had long legs. I was fairly tall for my age, so I was good at elastics because you know when you got to the thigh high kind of like you know height, that's when the height, you know, your own height sort of came into play, and you were able to you know get over those higher elastic you know jumps and that sort of thing. I used to love elastics. There's actually, I have an old picture of me at one of my birthday parties, and we're all out, me with my friends were all outside, we were all playing elastics together. It was good times. But that was a big whole, you know, a big thing. Fad? There was a big fad that we went through for a while there. But, you know, all the kids go through fads like that, don't they? different things that come up. I also remember doing a lot of, you know, every year you'd do that jump rope for heart thing, and you'd have to like, I remember we had to dress up to do it as well. And one year my mum dressed me up as a clown. Oh no. I was like, Mum, I don't want to be a clown. But she like did this whole costume thing, and it was just like, oh, it's horrible. I was not a happy clown. I was a sad clown. I was a tragic clown, one might say. It was not a good time. I was like, oh no. Did not want to dress up as a clown at all. And I had to like, you know, stay as a clown all day long. And, yeah, stay as a clown all day long and do like the skipping competition. So it was like, not ideal. Not ideal doing like skipping as a clown. Oh my gosh. Oh dear. Anyway, that was a fond memory of mine. Not. Okay. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do a speed change on some of this. And this video just got shorter. Bonus. Editing is fun. I'm actually going to be wrapping this up soon. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's come out and hang out and just chatted with me today. It's been a lot of fun, and I've managed to get my shopping ordered, and I've got my video edited, all while chatting away, and we've been listening to some chill tunes. We have not caught a spirit, which is a shame. I would have liked to have caught a spirit, but my eyes have been on my other screen, and I honestly haven't caught any sight of any spirits in Spirit Lo-Fi today. But hey, you're not going to be able to catch a spirit every day, so that's okay. It'll be another day. But you know, I might do this again as well, just like a random let's just chat session. Why not? I think I've had fun with it, and it's just been nice just chatting away and finding out how everybody's weekend was. Low key bit of fun. And then after that, I'm going to record a little bit, and then I'm going to go out and go see a panel beater about an appointment. Fun joys, and get a library book, and get an arm thingy for my son. Ah, mum life. Hashtag mum life. It's been good. Not bad for a Monday morning, right? Just hanging out, having a chill day, but hanging out. I don't mind a bit of Monday morning admin and chatting away. It's been nice. So I really appreciate you guys being here today and hanging out with me and having some chill times. It's been fun. I've enjoyed just chatting with you all today. So I hope you guys have had fun as well. Pretty chill. Had some company. It's always nice, isn't it? Bit of company while you get your stuff done in the background. I feel like that's a good thing about streams and stuff, is that you can just, like, you know, tune into someone and hang out together and have a good time. I've had a very good time. But I am going to sign off now. So I would say a big thank you to everyone that's hung out. I appreciate it. And I will catch you next time around. I'm going to be actually back tomorrow as well. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a chill morning. Especially first day back with the kids at school. Yeah. Right? I feel like it's a good way to go. Good way to go. Yeah, I'm going to be back tomorrow morning, and same time again tomorrow morning. We're going to be playing a bit of The Sims 4, and we're going to do some building with adventure awaits. So that's going to be cool. We're going to be doing a bit of that, and I hope you guys can join me for that. Don't know what we're building yet. I should come up with a plan. We'll work that out, eh? Very organized over here. Anyway, thank you for being here, guys. I will catch you next time around. Hopefully you can catch me tomorrow. Bye bye.